Okay, I need to get, no, not a complaint form for code violations, a complaint against the city administrator. I need a claim form.
Oh, like a liability claim?
Correct.
Well, never been fine.
Never?
Thank you.
It's a liability claim form.
Perfect. And I can get this online as well, or no?
I don't believe that's on.
Let me get 3 of these then, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Copies are getting a little light.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, here is
Perfect,
3
thank you.
total.
Perfect.
And you want to speak to the city clerk or the city manager?
I would, I'd probably like to start with the city clerk won't be able to help me, so it's either going to have to be the city attorney or city manager.
Okay, the city attorney doesn't carry something here.
Okay, there's okay, got you. Can I get their card then for the city attorney?
Right.
Okay.
Hi. Good, how are you? Pretty good.
I wanted to speak to someone regarding excavating.
How much are you excavating?
Over 50 cubic yards.
It is.
But really, I'm looking for material that definitively tells us what the requirements are for excavating.
Put his law firm on there too.
Right, perfect. Okay. And then my next question is, so the city attorney's position, I understand then, city manager probably should make an appointment. But I do have a legal question here. Does he have a legal secretary? Is there a legal secretary then, or somebody who...
No, but her secretary is available. Our city manager is a woman.
Okay, let's start there. That would probably help, and then she can guide me in the right location. I need to get a highlighter. There's one right there. No, just need it highlighted. Well, you have to if it's required by the form. In other words, if the form requires it, it is a requirement of the form.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a requirement of the form.
Here's our city manager's card. Her secretary's number.
Perfect. Thank you. Rickard, Rachel or Rachel? Rochelle. Perfect. And is Lisa available? And that's her secretary. That's Rachel's.
But the most better person to talk to is Mike Bertuccini. He's not in today, but he should be in tomorrow.
She's not at her desk right now, and I know she was at a seminar yesterday and was supposed to be this morning, so she may be in this afternoon.
Okay, let's see. So we have no city, is a city clerk?
Yeah.
Okay, we get somebody. That's perfect.
Her name is Lori, if you want to go ahead and talk to her.
Oh, sure. Hi, Lori. Hi, this is Rick Holiday, and I'd like to set up an appointment to meet with the city manager.
Sir?
Well, it's that and more, and I'm hoping we can have a conversation even submitting this. So it's kind of like why I'd like to maybe talk to either the city attorney, who I understand is not present because they're contracted. Right, and the city manager technically is not available. So I've got a very serious grievance. I happen to have it on film, and I think it's important that everybody starts from a position that we understand each other, and before I start putting legal strings down, and before you guys send more fire marshals, code enforcement officers, and police officers to a piece of property that's in question, somebody better get their story straight. So let's take a meeting. You know what? Are you available for 2 minutes? I'll give you everything, but over the phone, I'm going to have it right physically here. So if you got 2 minutes, meet with me. If not, I'll make an appointment. Perfect. Okay. Exactly. Perfect. Thanks. All right. Now we do this.
Who's this person? The deputy assistant
To somebody. Well, that went well. I know it is what it is. I'm all right with it. Oh yeah, huge.
How would you do? Did I understand she's going to come down?
She is, yeah. So we're good. She's gonna come down.
Oh, you're waiting for somebody?
I am.
Lori.
Lloyd.
Yes.
Oh, city manager's office? Oh, okay.
Yes. So you'll find I have the operating agreement when you contact the Lightners. And unfortunately, what happened out there was a decision you guys made, which is fine, but you'll come back to it in a minute because you'll understand I have the agent agreement for operational on the property. That'll all come back. We'll all have a meeting then, you know what I mean, at that particular point. Hi, how are you? Good to meet you. This is my wife, Sherry. I can't see a thing without these, and I left my other ones in there, so I'm put it back on, but no offense meant to you personally, you know, because otherwise I'm going to be like this, even trying to find the paper. Okay. So what I want to take you down is just a simple scope. There was a code enforcement action that came in to the city. The city then is required to respond. They're going to respond in their whatever they need to do for their legal whatever. So I came in, I met Dave. Actually, I've known Dave for a long, long time because I was a builder here, and so I want to be transparent, and we had a good relationship. Come on out, and we'll meet there. So we met. He brought with him the fire department code enforcement marshal, right, and another individual, and then we were waiting for another individual from, I believe you said planning.
Yes, it was Alfredo.
So we're waiting for Alfredo. So here's what happened. So while we're at the gate, there's a few things. I've spoken with my attorney, and because this is an official complaint, and because it is an administrative issue, it could go to a trial or hearing. I mean, this is very serious, and I take it seriously. I take my rights seriously too. So I wanted to go over the scope of a few things before we entered the property. I have everything I need. I've got current title, land, everything. First question was, is this property even in the city of Atascadero? Well, it is, but the police department said it isn't. I was not able yesterday to put in, or even a few days ago, to put in my complaint on what's happening out there because I was told by Mrs. Barnhill over there that we couldn't do it because they weren't the service records. This is actually the records request from the police department telling me that they reviewed it and that the property I'm requesting is outside the city limits.
What's the property address?
13005 Cholare Road, Cholare. It's a paper road. It actually doesn't even exist. I met with Rex next door for about 2 weeks now, and I've got not only the official documents showing the rescinded offers, but I actually have the title and some other things. So it's a paper road. It doesn't even exist. However, some very interesting things come into play here, tax-wise. The city lists this road as a maintained road. Taxes, accordingly, would be paid on a maintained road. Okay. It's not maintained. Okay, we'll get into that in another second. So when we met, I had a couple of questions from my attorney. My records of survey are all current and up to date. I know exactly where everything is on that. I've looked at the codes, and I talked to Dave, and I said, Dave, there's a few things I just want to make sure. You know, you got this, you came out. We're going to let you on the property, but first I want to talk. And then another individual didn't have enough time, and then the question of the day came in on whether I'm the legal owner. And I'm here to tell you that I am and hold the operating agreement to that property. I am the lessor. I have also purchased the property. I am not on title because the property isn't paid for yet. There is no reason to hold title. It's like a loan. You own your car, but you don't really own your car because the bank owns your car. My bank owns the property technically until it's paid. But yes, I have all operating agreements to speak with anybody. Today, they on their own chose to not further a conversation. I have it all on film.
When you say they?
Dave and everybody who came out decided that before they talk to me, they may want to see who they're supposed to talk to, which is fine by me because they're going to come back to this table again. But there is a problem here, and it's in your code. And in your code, the scope of what you have here and the violations, I handed this to Dave very first right off, and I said, are you aware of this, that he's required to do these things under the regulations? Hence the very reason he's at my property, you know, following fiduciary business procedures, practices, et cetera, et cetera. But in the scope of this is your general provisions. I didn't write this. And in here, the number one thing under Ordinance 9, under 79, this is a very old ordinance, and it's very clear, it's to promote justice. And at no time is it to be oppressive, selectively enforced. I immediately found out that we had a permit problem with our C-train because I have been in this office, I've met with other people, and I can find you right here codes under all emergency scopes that allow me to even put it on the property temporarily until we figure out what's going on. Now, I'm under no obligation to tell anybody what my personal life is, but certainly in order to help this go further, I want them to know that there's nobody living on the land, there's no sewer waste, we have water there, we have trash service there, we have everything there. The problem we have there is from 1996 until current. Things have been stolen off that property from boosters, pumps, pipes, wire, you name it. And I've got the documents from not only the prior people, but currently we just signed an agency agreement with the police department so that they could go arrest loiterers. They're camping out there. It's a mess. I took it over a couple months. I want to work with these guys, but I certainly don't want to feel oppressive, selective. So what started out as a call about a hothouse and someone living in a trailer, the hothouse isn't even illegal. And by the way, it's being taken down today. Because of what you said the other day, even though you told me technically maybe don't remove it, but I have on film that you said it was illegal and it's in the complaint. So we're removing it. And it's being removed right now based on your word, Dave. And if that comes to not be true, we don't care. It's out of there. So it's a moot point because I don't want any contention there. Okay. We have one building that's less than 120 square feet. It's storage. It meets all compliance issues. Our fence from the uphill side under law is 6 feet. I've got it rough, but we're cutting it. You know, I want to comply here, but what I don't want is an individual who gets a call from a third party and now wants to come down on me forensically. It's not the right way to do it. The right way to do it is to you know, come on in, make the calls, answer the questions. But if we just started making calls on everybody, well, I could complain about his house. We're going to come over and look in his drawers. Not going to happen. I have the right to not allow any of this. We can go to an administrative hearing and then to a courtroom because nothing out there we're doing is illegal. No one's living on the land. The property's not being misused. As a matter of fact, we've met with we came to them. We went to Rex. We went to Fish and Game to say to them, what do we do? Now, when Dave, let me finish. Wait, let me just finish. You'll have your chance. Then, on the property, now you come out to look at something for a complaint. Now all of a sudden you're going to start asking questions. Oh, well, that's, you know, so what's going to happen now
That's
is...
what I do is I ask questions.
I know, and I'm going to tell you right now, the questions that you ask need to be for the scope of work. It can't be selective, and I'm going to make sure that we are really transparent here, okay? Because I'm very concerned about the scope of where you got this complaint and where we're headed with it. Now, you asked me a question. What am I doing on the property? That is not the question you even have a right to ask me. Because if I want to sit there and just plant flowers with my wife, or I want to grow a garden, or if I want to do anything I can legally and lawfully do there, I don't have to get your permission, Dave, to do it.
I believe what I asked you is was there plumbing on the site?
I said no.
Was there water?
I answered no.
Okay, and that's all I asked.
No. It went a little further when you
And are you living on the property?
The answer was no.
And I can ask that?
I have of course, and I answered
Because
it.
that was one of the concerns in a written complaint. This wasn't just a phone call.
No, it's a written complaint. I'm looking very forward to taking this all the way because you see now your complaint has no merit. And so what I want to see is...
Well, as seen from the public right away, there is a trailer on the site.
That's not illegal. And you should have done your due diligence to find out if that's legal or not, and I can prove it is. Under many codes, emergency, temporary, but you did no due diligence to find out if that trailer is even legally allowed to be there. You took a complaint, which you should do, and then you contacted me, which you should do. I immediately came down here that day and said, let's go up there now. You said, I've been there, we got a schedule for next week.
Right.
We did. We met. Right. You showed up with all the powers that be. That's fine. But without letting me define what's going on there, and without letting me ask questions I have the right to, if you felt that you needed to shut it down by not staying there to further this, I'm going to make a formal complaint on what happened there, just so everybody's on page one. Okay. We will take the meetings with whoever we need to, because I will not have you make the statement to me on the property, and I'll quote it later with the film, when you say to me, no, we're just going to go ahead on your property and do what we need to do.
I said that?
Well, I'm going to let you hear it again, because I'm going to give it to your city attorney. Okay. But what I wanted to do is, you've got some real things you need to operate under, Dave. You have to operate under law, not under somebody calling you who
You're
has...
saying I violated the law?
You absolutely did.
In which
Well, you violated
Just so I
many.
know.
Well, you can write them down. Here's one you violated. Here's another you violated. You have no mandatory to do it. The enforcement is unofficial. Here's temporary dwellings, exempted temporary uses for everything.
Can I take copies?
No, you have it. It's your code book. Do your own homework.
Well, this is what you're saying that I violated. I just want to know what
It's going to be in the
law
complaint.
I violated.
No,
And I
it's
was
going to
just
be in the
asking-
complaint.
I was just asking if I could make copies, so.
You can, and you'll make the copy from the complaint. I'm just saying, I'm going down just...
So you'll write these?
Oh yeah, I have to in here. It's part of what I'm doing. But I'm just giving you a little bit of this. Even an exemption, the only thing for campers, have you ever even seen this document? And we're filming right now.
Oh,
So you brought me down here because you wanted to talk about setting up a meeting.
Absolutely, and I'm
So
giving
you're
you
not
need to
here to
understand why.
hash this out right
No,
now?
not at all. Dave was
Okay.
standing here. I'm ready to set the meeting. I don't need to discuss any of this with him. Let's set the meeting and we're done.
Okay, because what I'm here to do is get your contact information and find out what it's
805,
regarding.
Sure. I think you got a good gist of it. 805-440-2492. And would you like a
Is
internet.
that an office or a
That's
home?
my personal number.
Okay. Is it home or cell or?
It's a
convenient?
personal number. It'll
Okay.
come directly to me.
Okay. And do you have particular availability?
Any time except Tuesdays and Thursdays when I teach martial arts.
Not Tuesday and Thursday.
Right, those are just bad days for me.
So to make sure I understand, it's regarding this property,
Absolutely.
and you have, I'm not real clear other than there was a written complaint and some people went out to investigate it, and you want to talk about what happened at that time,
Absolutely.
because you feel like your rights were violated.
I'm going to prove they were violated, not with just this camera. There was a second camera. They were all informed that there was camera and audio on the property. They have a fiduciary duty under law, and that's why I want to take an appointment, because I'll file this because I must under the claim immediately in order to make sure that I mitigate my losses, potentially. I was not even legally allowed to file with the Atascadero Police Department until today because they said we weren't even in the service district. Nobody has their stuff together here. Let's make it together. Let's all get on page one. Dave can come out. But Dave was coming out to see if there was plumbing, electrical hooked up. There's not. You can see it from the road. You can look at any reason. What I want to do is say, before we get way further down this road, because I will pull the trigger on it like that, but I'll wait for one meeting with our attorneys, and we'll sit down and we'll look at this, because he has a duty, and I'm going to make sure that it's all the way.
So when you say PD, you tried to file a complaint with PD, was it regarding this or something else?
It's regarding the theft off our property, all the stuff that's going on out there. Hence the reason I came to everybody. Hence the letter of agency agreement with the police
And
department.
that was prior to this written complaint when Dave went
Absolutely,
out?
absolutely.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I've never had an issue with Dave. I still don't have one with him.
Okay.
I personally,
So I'm
this
just trying to
is,
make sure I understand.
Yeah.
So that was a completely separate issue.
well, it's tied in because it's a city. I need, one of the comments that was made today is they're now going to have to shut it down because they're going to have to get PD involved. What they don't even realize, I got PD involved before I ever came here.
And
So the threat of-
you're saying PD told you you were not within city limits?
Right, so now I went to the sheriff's department and went to file with them. They said, Rick, we can't take your filing. You must file there. And they proved to me, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that I live in the city.
Okay.
He proved to me I live in the city. I know I live in the city, but I'm not living there, but I know that property's there.
Okay. And
Yeah.
how long ago did you try to talk with PD about that?
I was this morning. I've been there 2 weeks ago. I've got emails for weeks. Oh,
Okay.
I could give you
So
documents.
within the last 6 months?
Within the last 5, 10, 20 minutes.
But I mean, from when it started?
The day we got that property and started cleaning creeks and looking at what was there, we started seeing transients. We kicked people out of there that were in the back of a tent. Some guy had it. It's amazing. It was like a
And
whole
so when
economy
you say from the
back
day
there.
you got there, roughly,
2 months ago, let's just say,
Okay.
right after, I think, did it take it first of the year technically by the thing, or the 15th? I don't know the exact, I'll look at my
Roughly 2 months.
operating
Okay.
agreement. It's about 2 months.
well,
I think we
I
paid.
just need to get a scope
yeah.
of whether we're talking about years,
Right.
you know.
One of the comments here that this is why I want to meet with the city managers and or city attorneys is because you see, under oppression or under any selective enforcement, when I have an individual who's acting with selectiveness by saying to me, yeah, you do need a permit. I came into this office, looked at the laws, looked at what I needed to do. My son had an emergency situation, not a problem. We took a C train. I went to the codes under emergency, went under camping, under what did we need to do to make sure we were compliant? Because we knew there might be some call like this. And we welcomed the come out. But what I don't welcome is the oppressive part of it when it comes down to be, well, we're going to also take a look here and see what I don't care. I just took the property over. I'm here to clean it up and steward the land.
Okay.
And that's what I want to do. And if we need to clean up someone else's mess, then we'll argue that. In other words, but let's really get this property defined, straightened out, get who we need to get in there. I have the current record of survey. I know exactly where my property is. I've been out there with 2 surveyors. I've got them all marked for everybody. I asked you straight up, do I need a permit for the C train? You said yes. I'd like one now. I'd like a permit for my C train under an emergency situation that I have, that I need to place a C train there for approximately 3 to 6 months. If I need a permit, I'd like to pay the permit fees. I'd like to get the process to have my C train permitted. And if there's a reason I can't, please explain it to me. And this isn't legal under law. I cannot give you my social security. This is a public document.
You don't need to.
Okay, so I'll fill it out, but you'll understand why, and I'll give you the code section that says
You can refuse it.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
But see, the thing about it is, on here, you also haven't said, under the government code 602, if this is a 10,000 or less. So do you have one that's clear? This is really kind of vague, but I do know under the code and the law, there should be something on here that states, is this amount going to be an action at 10,000 or greater? And it doesn't. And under the government code section, you could actually deny this if it's not on here. So is that just a missing thing on this form, or did I miss it somewhere?
Actually, you can get this online. I'll have to get a clear copy.
Yeah, I will, but it's very specific. Yeah, she told me it wasn't online, specifically your clerk. So I don't know if that's a training issue, but it's not available online.
I'll look into that then.
So I'm not going to formally put these in until we have a meeting. I want to talk first. And don't take my demeanor for being, I'm not mad at anybody. I just really am a guardian of my rights, your rights, and because I work in law and because I work in a very, very unique situation writing law, I have an affinity for it. I just want to make sure that he can come out. We meet the operations here that need to be met, but we need to define, it started with a complaint, a formal written complaint under a certain scope. Let's look at that scope. If you see something that's not right there, I want to know about it because I want to cure it right now.
Yeah, and that's basically
So
why
today I'm here
Let me
to-
finish.
okay.
That's the reason why we came out to see you, is to see if there's any validity to this complaint. I don't know.
But we know there's no
Discuss.
validity, and here's why, Dave.
I don't.
Yes, you do, because we know.
I haven't been on the property.
You don't need to. Yeah, I'll tell you why you don't need to do it under your own operations of law in the Muni Code. But besides that, you can see physically no piping and no drainage from that trailer. I want you to come and look at it.
I can't see that.
Of course you can. You stood on the hill. I have a picture of two people, and I have a picture of you on the hill.
You told me to go up there to use the phone, right?
No. The other time, the very first time you came out, when you
Yeah.
went down the road and parked and walked on the hill,
Right.
you're on video.
Right.
And guess what? I, with a set of binoculars, can see everything right there. I'm okay with having you come there, but I'm very guarded because of when I come here and you say I don't this or that, and you don't even know the law, you don't know the temporary situations, you don't know the enforcement law, I'm a little concerned because it's your physical, fiduciary, and functional duty. And when you come to me to say, we're here because we have a complaint, the complaint needs to state what it is and what you're there for.
It does.
And when I asked you some questions, you turned it around to say, well, we don't even know if we're talking to the right person, we don't.
We don't.
But I'm telling you, and you have an officer of the court who's there.
Right?
All right? Now, under perjury, to make a false, it's even written right here. There it is right there. You can't even make a claim. It's illegal. If I gave you any information, it would shut me down quicker. In other words, do you think okay, you're missing something. I wouldn't call you. I wouldn't ask questions. I wouldn't try to figure out what's going on there if I didn't want to know what we needed to do. You don't have a right to ask me what I'm doing. I might want to plant watermelons, but that's not your business. Your business is you had a code violation and come out and see if there was a violation. Is the hothouse a violation? No photovoltaic electric, temporary structure, not to the
So
ground.
you're asking me a question that I can't answer.
But you're the
because-
person
let
in
me
charge of
finish.
the question.
Let me finish, please. You're asking me a question that I cannot answer because I was not on site. I don't know if there's any electrical associated with it. Okay, and that would be my...
We don't have
concern.
electrical to the property. How could we have electrical?
I don't know.
You haven't done your due diligence, and that's part of this code before you come to me.
I can't do that until I go on a site and...
Not true. The code says you're supposed to do everything to mitigate and make sure that the complaint is verified as a merit complaint. And you haven't done any of that. And I can prove it, because you don't even know the law, the code. You came to me asking questions. I answered you. I said, is it illegal? You told me not to take the hothouse down.
Until I check things out. I don't know what
There's
you have
no
going
electric,
on
there's
there,
no
okay?
plumbing, there's
And
nothing
so
there.
I think the best thing, Rick, is to just go ahead and set up a meeting.
Oh, I am.
And let's take it from there. You know, if you think that I did something wrong, well...
I really do.
you have
I
your
really do,
opinion.
and I think
I
that...
don't think I violated any laws that I can think of.
Okay, well, we'll get to that in the
I'm not-
complaint.
I'm not an attorney, so we'll leave that up to the powers that be.
Okay, I would say that if you just got a complaint for a trailer, are you even aware of this code, Dave?
Well, No, I have.
Other than
not-
right now?
I have not read this code.
Perfect, I'll give you a
section
second.
before, because
And specifically, could you just read D?
I don't think that this is camping that we're talking about. That's not what the complaint was based on.
Yes, it's based on living, but somebody has to define what's the difference between security, living, designate the legal things. Is there refuge and sewage upon the property? Is there,
I don't know. I haven't been there. I haven't been
but that's
on
not in the
site.
complaint. That's not in the complaint.
Yeah, and that's
But
a
if
good
we have,
question.
but if we have services from a licensed health approved facilitator, if we have water legal and trash service, would it stand to reason we've probably taken care of? And wouldn't you stand to reason as a human being that, gosh, Rick, you did everything. You got sewer, your power cover, you're doing all the things you need to do so that you're not putting waste upon the property. But can you define what I'm doing here? Am I camping or am I living? You tell me.
I don't know. I haven't been on
You
the-
don't know.
I haven't been on the site.
Thank you.
To verify the complaint or.
Thank you. So we'll set up the appointment. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
I will be calling
Okay.
you, or the city manager will be calling.
Perfect. And if it's at all possible, it'd be nice to have the city attorney there if we could. It would.
Well, he-
I know all about it, but I'll pick the day that's convenient for him on a day
It would probably
he's
be
here.
a Tuesday, just so you know.
If it's Tuesday before 4, I can do it because I've got to be over there teaching by 5.
Okay, Tuesday before.
Yeah, and Thursdays as well. So, and definitely a look at the code. It's the Atascadero's own uni code, the statutes of government, court, and law. Dave, we're in my arena now. Your arena is the inspection arena, and your arena, and I was willing to do all that, but it became a little oppressive, a little intimidating, a little bit outside of the scope when you're willing to come on the property immediately if I'll let you. But you don't have time to take 10 minutes to make sure that we're discussing something legally.
Well, no, that was the fire marshal that said he had to move on.
And then he shouldn't be at that meeting. Then that means you shouldn't
didn't-
either because he's the code enforcement officer.
I didn't know that he was going to
Have a time limitation.
Yeah, I did not know that.
I'm not mad. I'm saying, but what city official makes an appointment with a citizen and waste my morning and your morning to come out there and then tell me, oh, I can only give you 5 minutes or 10 minutes?
Well, I had more time than that, but the whole thing was that it seemed like you didn't want to give us access onto the property.
That isn't it at all.
To either show that there is a violation or to.
That wasn't it at all.
Say there is no
And the tape will
violation.
prove it because I said we're going on, but first we're going to
seemed
discuss
that
this.
way.
No, you wanted to take it where you were controlling it. It's a private piece of property by a citizen, and I think you should be looking at your rights as well. I think you should be concerned. Because if it was flipped around, Dave, it's just very interesting. I want you to do what you need to do.
I will.
I know you will, and I guarantee you I will do what I need to do so that both of us can meet in a happy medium.
Absolutely.
Your decision not to meet with me just put you back further. The Lightners will give you the information you need, and at some point, maybe when it's convenient here, because you won't be coming back out to the property, you won't be allowed there without an administrative hearing, and possibly to court without a court or a warrant or a judge's order, because it's my right. But if we take a meeting and we understand each other clearly, I may allow, I'm not even sure why you were there if the code enforcement officer isn't even you.
The reason why we were there, again, was to determine whether the complaint was a valid complaint.
But you
or
don't
whether
determine
it
that,
was
ever.
not. Okay.
Right,
Then-
do you?
Then I think we need.
No,
to
you
make-
just told me that
because I don't-
Tom is the person who's the code enforcement
We work
officer.
together as a team.
Are you a
okay?
code
So-
enforcement officer? Yes or no? It's pretty black and white.
You
Because I
know,
can't find you in your description as the code enforcement officer in the city's information. It does list the fire marshal.
I believe if you look in the building code, I'm not sure, but I think it mentions something about me enforcing codes. as well.
Absolutely, I found it. I know all about it. But I asked
Okay.
you if you were
All
designated
right,
under
so-
your position here as a code enforcement officer. You're not. You're a sub-supportive situation for it, but you are not listed as a designated code enforcement officer for the city of Atascadero. The fire department is, and specifically the fire marshal. Now, of course you get involved, other departments get involved. That's why we're here, because I think that there's a little more here that needs to go over here. And anybody who just makes a complaint, we can call on this lady right here. Let's find out where you live, and let's make a complaint on her. And then you're going to go out there and verify that? You want to put up a spite fence between properties too? At what point do you become the manager for civil issue? And the individual who wrote that complaint, when I get to it, is where I want to go. That's where I'm headed. So just so you know, that's where we're going to go. All right. And I'm not mad at you, Dave. It's the system, and we'll figure out how to mesh the two of them. All right, thank you. And let's see, as far as the, I do need to pick up that permit for the C train, and can I pay the fee now?
That's something I need to check up on.
Check up on why. Am I getting selective service now, selectively than anyone else who would come to this counter and ask for a permit?
No.
Then I'd like that permit, please.
I'll give you a permit
Thank you.
application.
Thank you. And
If you could just hang for a little bit, I'll go get you the, I just put together a cargo container, a handout that explains what is required for
Perfect.
that. Okay, so
Perfect.
just give me
Thank
1
you.
minute.
I could tear these fucking documents apart. This is ridiculous. So what's happened is I've been handed the building permit application to go ahead. I'm going to be handed the further information on C trains and what the requirements are for C trains. It's not mine. This time it's his.
Oh.
Good luck. And also, our address is technically Cholare Road here. As El Moro comes in, and then it goes up here, and Cholare dips down and takes that turn. That's where it dips right down, where that little push out is we have back there. That's kind of where we went straight back. Actually, pushed probably right to here. No, because see, it goes like this. The city is all here. This is the city limits here. Okay, we're the last one here because technically it goes up this way, and those are all undeveloped. So right here, this is T's house. This is Cuesta right here.
There she stops right here instead of
No, Old Morrow Road is here. See, this is where Old Morrow Road comes in. So when you look on the that's all it is. That's all it is. That's the only part of Cholare that's there.
And that's about the pickup part.
It's just an assessment purpose. So in other words, that's 300 feet, that's 600 feet, just so you can approximately tell how many feet it is, like from here to there, there to there. It just gives you. Yeah. Oh, I've gone way further than that.